Welcome, welcome, welcome to episode 264 of the show with no name. I'm your humble host, Nick, and in today's episode, we're going to be visiting this little old farmer cemetery out here in the middle of nowhere on the plateaus in Washington State. This cemetery goes by the name of the Fletcher Cemetery. And I have quite a number of people to talk about in today's episode. So let's get into this. As you can tell, there was a fire here recently, and there is no sign that says Fletcher Cemetery. But luckily, all the headstones seem to be in pretty good shape. I'm not too sure how this cemetery got its name, but there is an infant with the last name Fletcher that's buried here, and he was buried here sometime in the year 1915. I'm going to start this episode off today talking about the Saint Germains. Michael Saint Germain was born on September 28, 1844, and he was an early settler of Washington and for many years a resident of Oregon. He passed away on April 15, 1914 on his farm. He was born in Canada and immigrated here. His wife, Medelia, was born on March 1st, 1848 in Oregon, and she had a husband and 5 children before her husband passed away and she met and married Michael. Her and Michael also had 5 kids together. She would pass away on November 18th, 1916 at the age of 68. David Sparks Sawyer was born on March 26, 1873 in Illinois. He served in the infantry in the Spanish-American War, and he passed away on March 22, 1927 in Washington at the age of 53. He is buried here with his mother and father, Stephen and Sarah. They both passed away in the early 1900s. It was hard for me to pinpoint just where a lot of these pioneers originated from as far as their European ancestry. Mostly they came from Oregon or Illinois, and many of them were even born here in Washington State after the fact. There's a 13-year-old little girl buried here named Mary Brown, and she was born on June 5th, 1895 in Douglas County, Washington. And she would pass away on August 29th, 1908 in Chelan. Her cause of death was acute appendicitis. There's a handful of other children buried at this cemetery as well that I wasn't able to get any information on, but you will see their headstones coming up in the next couple of videos. But what I want to get into now is I want to talk about the Schmidt family, because the Schmidt family was a very prominent family out here, it seems, and there are quite a few Schmidts buried here. John Schmidt was born on July 11th, 1886 in Nebraska. He would pass away on May 27th, 1911 in Waterville, Washington State. He was just 24 years old. His wife would end up getting remarried, and she's buried elsewhere. One of their sons, Emery, was born on December 30th, 1910, and he served in World War II and passed away on December 21st, 1975 in Waterville. He was 64 years old. Emery's grandparents and John's parents were also buried here in this cemetery. Grandpa John Schmidt Sr. was born on December 21st, 1862, and I'm not sure where he was born, but he would pass away sometime in 1912 at the age of 49. His wife, Frederica, was born on November 20th, 1864, and I'm not sure where she was born either, but she would pass away in 1937 at the age of 72. The Schmidt family is buried together here in the Fletcher Cemetery. And as you can see, they have some really beautiful headstones. I'm going to show you guys some of my favorite shots from this cemetery for a few minutes. And then when we get back, we'll talk about 3 more people that are buried here before we finish the episode. Friedrich Hofer was born in Switzerland in January of 1842. He died in Waterville on May 8, 1920. He came to America in 1868, and he would settle in Washington State in the year 1903. He married his wife Elizabeth in Ohio along the way, and to this union were born 8 sons and 6 daughters. His wife Elizabeth died in 1907, and at that time there were only 8 of the 14 children still living. His wife is buried here with him in Fletcher Cemetery. We have the Fletcher son here also, who I believe inspired the name of the cemetery. And here's the Hofer headstone here, Frederick and Elizabeth's. And as you can see, it's a pretty beautiful little headstone too, out here in the middle of nowhere. David Edward Montgomery was born on November 2nd, 1824, and he would pass away on June 20th, 1907 in Waterville. He was 82 years old. He served in the Civil War, and he was a part of the 144th Ohio Infantry. Joseph Norris was born on November 25th, 1841 in Ohio, and he would pass away on October 28th, 1911 in Douglas County, Washington. He was 69 years old. On a final note with this cemetery, during further research, I was able to locate a few more pictures of some of the people buried here, like David Edward Montgomery. This is a photo of him sometime after the Civil War. I also found these photos of the Schmidt family. This is Grandpa and Grandma Schmidt, and this is the entire Schmidt family. You can see John Schmidt, the son. He's standing up there in the top left-hand corner. I hope you guys enjoyed the Fletcher Cemetery episode. See you next time. Thank you.